All right, listen up, you Philistines, because I've just sat through the cinematic monstrosity that is Oppenheimer, the latest exercise in ego from the so-called visionary director, who apparently thinks strapping an IMAX camera to a broomstick and waving it around a bunch of extras in fedoras constitutes high art. I should have known what I was signing up for the moment I saw the smug title card plastered over the first of one too many teary-eyed monologues about the burden of genius. Because in this director's world, everyone speaks like they swallowed a thesaurus, and are perpetually on the brink of a soliloquy. Let's dissect this profanity against celluloid, shall we? The film's attempt to deify J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, is the cinematic equivalent of watching paint dry on a canvas where the paint is also somehow pretentious. It's historical fan fiction with the directorial subtlety of a sledgehammer coated in glitter, hammering away at the theme of, ooh, the duality of man, like we haven't seen that 1,000 times before. Now, don't get me started on the constant shifting of aspect ratios as if the very format of the screen is somehow a playground for artistic whimsy. We get it. You have the budget for IMAX. But the fact that the frame changes more frequently than the plot moves forward is less an ode to Kubrick, and more a cry for help to differentiate the endless scenes of monotonous scientific discourse. Then, there's the signature use of practical effects over CGI, which in this epic equates to endless shots of mushroom clouds filmed with the glee of a pyromaniac with a Hollywood checkbook. These scenes are intercut with the pained expressions of actors giving it their all to resonate emotional depth. Still, it comes across as forced and as subtle as a slap to the face with a radioactive isotope. And let's talk about the score, or what I can only assume is the sound of an orchestra tuning their instruments for 2.5 hours straight. That grating auditory wallpaper does nothing but remind you that you're watching a film that's trying so hard to be remembered as a classic that it falls over its own hubris and breaks its nose. Not to be forgotten are the poetic visual metaphors. You'll have to forgive me if I don't leap out of my seat with applause at the sight of a slow-motion dove flying in front of a cloud of ash. It's about as subtle as a neon sign flashing symbolism in Times New Roman. The scene is so laden with irony it might as well have been a pigeon flapping around in a dumpster fire, which is a more apt metaphor for this film, a dumpster fire in slow motion. In summary, Oppenheimer is a pretentious, ponderous, and painfully self-indulgent spectacle that drowns in its own bloated sense of importance. It exemplifies the director's pathological need to turn every frame into a Renaissance painting or a George Maley's magic trick gone horribly wrong. Watching Oppenheimer was like sitting through a Wagner opera performed by tone-deaf cats, continuously hoping for a resounding climax that never escaped the black hole of the film's own making. The tragic irony here is that a film about the man who harnessed the power of the atom managed to split my skull with its utter depravity. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to cleanse my palate with a double feature of Sharknado and The Room because, God help me, I need a reminder of what joy feels like.